The descent took 6 minutes. In that time, the temperature dropped 20 degrees. Frost slithered over the viewport as Aegir Station emerged from the dark beneath Europa's icy crust. A sprawl of iron bones and broken lights nestled in a crater of ice and silence. Captain Elara Morrow stood at the center of the lander's control deck, hands gripping the railing, breath visible in the freezing air. Behind her, the crew of 5 checked oxygen reserves and armed their weapons. No one spoke. Except for Ramirez. Always Ramirez. Tell me again, why the hell are we down here? Didn't the last team vanish? 3 teams, Elara corrected, not turning. No signals. No survivors. High Command wants us to light the core or die trying. Silence. Even Ramirez didn't have a comeback for that. The lander docked with a heavy clunk. Lights flickered. The airlock hissed open. They entered the belly of the station. It smelled like rust, cold meat, and memory. Frost coated the walls. The logo of the old Earth Union was half scraped from the bulkhead, a forgotten promise. Elara flicked on her helmet lamp. The beam cut through the dark, dancing over a shattered control panel and... Hold! Her voice froze the group. A single boot, still attached to part of a leg, lay on the floor beside the main terminal. Blood had crystallized in long red spikes. But no body. Stay sharp, she whispered. Miller, map the core route. Ramirez, sweep the south wing. No heroics. Copy that, they muttered. Elara paused, listening. Somewhere deeper, something shifted. Not a sound. A sensation, like something had changed its breathing pattern. They moved. Corridors became tighter. Ceilings dripped with condensation. Electrical hums pulsed like distant whale songs. Doors refused to open, then opened too quickly. Elara stopped at a broken glass panel. Inside, a mess hall. Frozen trays of half-eaten meals. And words scratched into the frost-covered mirror. The psalm wants you quiet. Morrow. It was Reeves, their engineer, voice shaking over comms. There's something in the lower maintenance tunnels. I'm picking up frequency echoes, not mechanical. Organic. Pulsing. Pinging the signal? She asked. It's not a signal. It's a melody. Get out of there. Now. Too late. It's in the walls. Then the scream came. High-pitched. Wrong. Not human. It erupted through the comms, not from Reeves but through him. The sound wasn't just loud. It was sharp. It clawed at her brain like fingernails on glass. Ramirez dropped to his knees, clutching his ears. Kill the feed! Elara shouted. Silence returned. But Reeves was gone. And Elara could still hear the hum, like a song she didn't remember learning. They retreated to the operations chamber. Lights flickered. Monitors pulsed static. Ramirez was bleeding from the ears. Miller whispered, What the hell was that? Elara looked at her trembling hands. It's not a beast. It's a frequency. A parasite that sings. She took a deep breath. And Reeves is probably already one of them. No one spoke. Until Ramirez said, barely audible, We shouldn't have come here. Outside, beyond the thick station glass, the ice cracked. Something moved in the dark, not swimming. Crawling. Something without a face, wearing a voice that didn't belong. Elara gritted her teeth, eyes locked on the reactor route. They still had to light the core. We go deeper, she said. We don't stop. We don't listen. As they moved out, she looked back at the scratched words once more. The psalm wants you quiet, she whispered back. Then it's going to hate me. And the shadows hummed, almost delighted. The air in Aegir Station felt thinner now. Not because of the oxygen levels, those still red-green, but because the silence had weight. Elara led what was left of her team, Miller, Ramirez, and Dr. Voss, through the central access tunnel. The walls narrowed around them like clenched jaws. Pipes hissed intermittently. Her boots crunched on frost-coated steel. I can still hear it, Ramirez muttered, voice low and hoarse. Like someone humming inside my skull. It's in the damn walls, Boss replied. I scanned the frequencies. They're not mechanical. They're neural. It's mimicking memory signatures. What the hell does that mean? Miller asked. It's not speaking to us, Elara said grimly. It's learning how to speak as us. They fell into silence again. As they turned a corner near Hydro Wing 3, the walls grew darker. Organic matter pulsed faintly between cracks. Webs of red algae bloomed across pipes, moving with a faint rhythm, like lungs breathing. These weren't here in the station blueprint, Boss said, scanning the growths with a trembling hand. Because they're new, Elara replied. It's growing. She didn't say what she really feared. The station was being converted into a hive. In the security sublevel, they found Team Echo, or what was left of them. 6 suits lined the floor, piled like discarded toys. Helmets off. Faces frozen in screams. Eyes bled out. Elara stepped forward carefully, rifle up. Ramirez cursed and stepped back. That's when one of the suits moved. A faint twitch of the fingers. Elara rushed over. Voss scanned quickly. The survivor's name tag read, Lieutenant Kellen. His lips moved, barely audible. Don't hum. Voss leaned closer. Say again? Kellen's head snapped back violently. His mouth opened far too wide. And from his throat, a tune began to play. No vocal cords. No breath. Just a pure mechanical hum, like a lullaby played backward on a broken music box. Elara screamed. Move! Ramirez opened fire. The thing wearing Kellen collapsed, but the humming continued, echoing off every metal wall around them. Run! Elara barked. They sprinted down the corridor as the walls around them shivered. Something screeched in the vents, something huge and fast. As they ran, a panel burst beside Ramirez, spraying him with black fluid. He slipped. Elara grabbed his wrist, hauling him to his feet. For a moment, their helmets touched. Don't let go, she whispered. I'm not. They reached the reactor chamber door and slammed it shut behind them. The humming outside stopped. But inside, the chamber was alive. The fusion core loomed at the center, once pristine, now corrupted. Tendrils of dark matter pulsed around it like veins on a tumor. Screens flashed erratically in alien glyphs. The hum was stronger here, low, constant, vibrating in their spines. Voss stared. It's using the station's systems like a nervous system. Can we reboot it? Miller asked. If we reroute power through the auxiliary controls, yes, but we need time. Get it done, Elara ordered. Voss moved quickly, setting up the override. Miller secured the exits. Elara stood guard, staring at the core. The hum grew louder in her ears, no longer sound. Words. You left them, Elara. She froze. You watched them burn while you ran. No, she whispered. The world blurred. She saw fire. Screams. The faces of her old squad. Juno, bleeding out, begging for help. She had turned her back. You survived. They died. You should have died. Elara? Ramirez's voice broke through. She blinked. Sweat poured down her face. She raised her weapon, realizing she'd been pointing it at Voss. It's trying to break us, she rasped. Ignore the voice. I wasn't hearing anything, Ramirez said quietly. Her heart dropped. So it was only her now. The power grid flared. Lights flickered. The backup reactor whirred to life. We've got it, Voss said, smiling, for just a moment. Then a panel above exploded. A limb dropped through, long, jointless, glistening. Not bone. Not flesh. Sound. Manifested into form. It screeched, not aloud, but directly into their minds. Everyone dropped, writhing in pain. Elara bit her lip until it bled, keeping focus. She aimed and fired into the vent. The limb recoiled. Miller! Seal the shaft! On it! Another limb burst through the floor. Ramirez emptied his clip. Voss screamed, not from fear, but joy. He was humming. Voss? Elara asked. He turned. Eyes pitch black. Smile too wide. It's beautiful, Elara. Don't you want to sing? She shot him. Twice. Voss dropped. Ramirez didn't flinch. Neither did Miller. No time to grieve. We hold this room, Elara growled. We keep the core online. Or we become part of the chorus. Miller began welding the remaining vents. The hum rose again, building to a crescendo. But this time, Elara smiled. Let it come. We've got the tune now. Outside, the lights dimmed. From the darkness beyond the sealed chamber, something massive approached. Its form wasn't solid, but its presence was undeniable. Captain, Ramirez whispered. What if we don't make it? Then we make damn sure it remembers why it fears the sound of human rage. As the shadow rose, Elara stood tall, rifle ready. Her voice calm. End of the line. Then the station lights went red. Aegir Station trembled. Not from any tectonic shift or pressure breach. This was different, internal, like the structure itself was being pulled apart by an unseen force, or perhaps by sound waves so deep they rewrote the very idea of silence. The lights flickered between crimson and void. Ramirez pressed his back against the humming fusion core, pulse rifle aimed at the sealed entrance. Elara stood beside him, bruised and pale, her breath fogging in the freezing air. Miller welded the last vent shut with trembling hands. We're running out of time, Elara muttered. This thing is getting bolder. Or it's fully awake now, Ramirez said. And pissed. She didn't reply. She couldn't. Because something inside her head had started singing again. The hum had become a voice, not foreign this time, but familiar. It sounded like Juno, her old teammate. The one she left behind during that failed op on Ceres outpost. Elara, you made the right choice. You survived. Now save them. Just like you couldn't save me. Shut up, she whispered. You're not her. Aren't I? The voice took on a new shape, her own. You already carry me, Elara. The guilt. The regret. We all do. The silence only amplifies it. So sing. Sing with us. Let it go. Elara! Ramirez's shout snapped her back. Something had made it through the ceiling. A tear in the metal above, not from impact, but warping, like reality had bent to let it pass. It dripped into the chamber, a black mist, undulating like a heartbeat. Then it formed. A figure, vaguely human. No face. No eyes. Just a cavernous mouth in the center of its torso, slowly opening as if inhaling their sanity. The hum grew deafening. It didn't scream, it resonated. Miller collapsed, convulsing. Ramirez shot, but the bullets slowed in midair as if stuck in syrup. The creature drifted toward them. Elara clutched her head. Blood leaked from her nose. That's when she saw it again, the moment Juno died. The moment she turned her back. The moment she ran. She fell to her knees. Join us, the voice said from the void mouth. Be still. Be quiet. Be nothing. I am nothing, she whispered. And for 1 second she believed it. Then she felt a hand on her shoulder. Ramirez. No words. Just a squeeze. Just presence. He didn't say, "You can do this." He didn't have to. He was still here. Alive. Breathing. Human. That was enough. Elara's eyes snapped open. The hum wavered, just a bit. No, she growled. I'm not nothing. I'm everything you fear. She rose. Grabbed a plasma line from Miller's half-unpacked rig. And charged the abomination. Contact. The creature shrieked, not with sound, but with a reversal of it, a sucking silence that pulled light from the room. Elara jammed the line into its mouth torso and triggered the surge. Blue light exploded. The core flared. The creature rippled, deforming. The hum fractured. and Elara heard something new. A cry of pain. It could feel pain. Good. The thing dissolved, leaving only smoke and static behind. The chamber stabilized. For now. Ramirez pulled her back as she staggered. You good? He asked. She coughed, smiled through blood. Never better. We need to finish this. Miller rasped from the ground. That wasn't the main thing. That was a finger. Then we're gonna break the whole damn hand, Elara said. They worked fast. The fusion core override was live. One shot. One pulse. It could fry the network running through the station and sever the Undersong's control, but it would also fry everything else. No escape. No glory. Just sacrifice. Miller hesitated. We could still leave. Detach the reactor wing, escape pod out. Ramirez looked at Elara. She knew what they were asking. One last chance to run. No, she said. We finish what the others couldn't. She turned to Ramirez. You and Miller take the secondary tube. Get to the lander. If I fail, you blow the station from orbit. Not happening, Ramirez said. Not asking. She marched alone toward the core's final interface. The hum started again, desperate this time. Screaming now. Words overlapping. Voices of every dead teammate. Every lost soul. Even her mother's voice. Come home, Elara. It's cold here. It's not home, she whispered. It's a tomb. The screen asked for confirmation. Pulse initiate, irreversible. Are you sure? She stared at the prompt. She thought about the silence after Juno died. The silence that followed every choice. How it never left. You wanted quiet, she said, placing her bloodied hand on the pad. So listen to this. She hit yes. Pulse initiated. 90 seconds. The station's emergency klaxons wailed, their ancient cries warped by years of corrosion and cold. Red warning lights spun wildly, painting the chamber in bloody flashes. The humming, the undersong howled. Not in fury. In fear. Elara stood still at the console, breath ragged, vision blurred, boots planted firm. The detonation countdown ticked toward oblivion. Elara! Ramirez's voice crackled in her calms. You still with us? Alive. But not for long, she said. The pulse is primed. Abort it. We'll extract you. We're coming back. No, she said calmly. If it senses an evacuation, it'll jump hosts. Probably into one of us. Silence. You know I have to do this, she added softly. Ramirez's voice cracked. Damn it, Captain, you deserve more than this. I deserved a second chance. I got it. Outside the core room, the Undersong manifested, not as a form this time, but as a storm. Torrents of vibrating black static surged down the corridor, tearing panels from the walls. Screaming shards of memory flew with it, spectral images of dead crew, looping final words, distorted like broken film. You are alone! It shrieked, voice now a chorus of the dead. You always were! No one will remember you. Elara turned her back to the storm. Then I'll remember myself. She stared at the timer. 30 seconds. The undersong flooded the chamber, pulling reality apart. Walls groaned. Blood leaked from seams in the metal. The air vibrated like the final pluck of a string before it breaks. The entity reached for her, not with limbs, but with visions. Her daughter, alive again. The sun, warm on her skin. Laughter. Forgiveness. A world without guilt. All she had to do was say yes. All that pain, you could let go, it whispered. I already have, she said. And she turned to face it. The core surged. A single pulse of pure silence erupted from the chamber. It wasn't absence of sound, it was the removal of the Undersong's song. The creature convulsed, unraveling. Screams became static. Static became whispers. Whispers became nothing. The storm collapsed in on itself. Elara watched it dissolve into snow-like dust, swirling into the reactor. 10 seconds. In the sky above Europa, the lander drifted just beyond the ice shelf. Ramirez and Miller watched the station's seismic readings spike. "She did it," Miller whispered. The station glowed beneath the surface, a radiant white aura pulsing from its core, like a heartbeat finally stopping. And then, a flash. Aegir Station was gone. No explosion. No debris. Just quiet. Epilogue. 2 months later. Location: Memorial Wing, New Lagrange Station. A small, black plaque bore the name: Captain Elara Morrow. Silence never defined her. Her voice saved us all. Ramirez stood before it, silent, helmet under his arm. Beside him, a child, maybe 6, held a small toy soldier. She looked up. "Did she really stop the monster?" "She did," Ramirez said. "Alone." The girl nodded solemnly. "Was she scared?" "Yeah," he said. "But she did it anyway." Behind them, humanity rebuilt, small lights and distant voids. No more hums. Only the sound of breathing. And hope. Final line. In the deepest dark, when the stars were silent and even memory turned traitor, she sang the last note.